Hello everyone, this is Mike from Edge 50 TV talking about boxing. So if you're watching this show for the first time, then hit that subscribe button and the notification button so you'll know when this show comes out every single week. Welcome to my review show, everybody. I'm not doing a live show today as I'm going to a meeting, so I can't do it. However, from next week, Monday, when I do my review show, it'll be back to normal as per usual. So what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about the Canelo Vs Fielding fight. I'm going to be talking about some of the news, specifically about the PBC deal that they've done with ITV and how that will affect the UK market. So yeah, it's going to be interesting times ahead. So let's get cracking. So first up, let's talk about the show that's happening this weekend. Canelo Alvarez versus Rocky Fielding is happening at the Madison Square Garden in New York. And it's going to be shown on DAZN in the US, and it's going to be shown on Sky Sports in the UK. Now, with this fight with Rocky Fielding, Canelo Alvarez is moving up to 168 to fight for Fielding's regular belt. It's not the super belt because that's held by Callum Smith, and he wants to be a world championship at a third different weight, and he wants to be one of a few Mexicans to do it. So he wants to create history. So yes, this is going to be an interesting fight. Canelo Alvarez is the heavy favorite. Canelo Alvarez is expected to win and win easily. But, I mean, looking at the pictures, there's a big, massive height difference between them. So before we get into the fight itself, let's look at the undercard. Now, looking at the undercard, there's not many 50-50 fights on the undercard. Because, like I said before, when you have a main event which is taking the majority of the money, the undercard is not going to be stacked with, 50-50 contests. You're going to have a few names on there, like you've got Tevin Farmer, who's a name. You got David Lemieux, who is a name. You got, someone that's not on the card, Ryan Garcia. He's a very young prospect, a talent who's just came under Canelo's trainer's wing. He's a good talent as well. And also you've got Katie Taylor, a world champion, one of the best female fighters in the world on the card. But all of these fighters that I've mentioned, they're all expected to win. There shouldn't be tough fights at all. But if you're a fan of these fighters, it's good to see these fighters out in the ring again, performing. I like Tevin Farmer, I like what he does. And I like Katie Taylor as well. And it's good to see these fighters on TV, and I'll be able to get to see them. But actually, in saying that though, Sky doesn't show all the undercards that I've noticed. So I wanted to see Arias versus Rosado in Kansas, and I wasn't able to see it. So whether I'll see the whole card, I'm not so sure. But if I don't, hopefully I'm gonna find a way of watching it at some other means. So yeah, so that's the undercard there. I mean, like I said, overall, it's a decent card for what it is, and it's got some decent names on there that I'm looking forward to seeing as well. Now let's talk about the main event. Now, Canelo Alvarez and Rocky Fielding. Canelo Alvarez is moving up. Canelo Alvarez is gonna face a huge weight, height, reach disadvantage against Rocky Fielding. If this was a talented 168 fighter or one of the best heavyweights in that division, then I'll be concerned because he is too small to be at 168. I'm fully expecting him to stay at 168 for this fight and then go straight back down, because if he fights any other 168 like Callum Smith, for example, he will I don't think he will struggle in there just because of the size difference alone. He is very small. I mean, literally very small at that weight division. In saying that, my prediction is going to be a no-brainer, Canelo Alvarez to win, because he's fast, he's skillful, he's a better fighter overall than Rocky Fielding. Rocky Fielding is not a very skillful, talented fighter. From what I've seen, who knows, in this fight he could produce something that no one's never seen before, but it's very unlikely that's going to happen. I personally will think that if you're smart, because you've got a huge height and reach advantage, you're going to try and use that. Don't go to his size. Use your height and reach. Keep him at distance with the jab. If he comes in, counter punch him. The question is whether Rocky Fielding is good enough to administer that tactic. And me personally, I don't think he's capable of doing that, and that's why I think he's going to lose the fight. I think Canelo Alvarez will get him out of there with some body shots, and he'll be down in, I'll probably say, I'll say 4 to 5 rounds. He'll get him out of there. 4 to 5 rounds, he'll get him out of there with a body shot. I don't think it'll be a headshot. I think it'll be a body shot, because I think that he'll try to use his height and reach, and I think he'll try and get him to the body. He did the same thing with Liam Smith, so I think he'll do the same thing with Rocky Fielding as well. So that's my prediction. Yeah, so hopefully it'll be a good, interesting fight as long as it lasts. Now, let's look at the news for the week. And the big news I want to talk about is what's happening at the moment in regards to TV for UK fans. Now, Al Haymon, who people may or may not know, he is of Haymon Boxing. He owns the PBC Premier Boxing Champions Super Series that is currently shown on Fox Sports and Showtime in the US. He is one of the biggest, most prominent managers in boxing today. He manages some of the biggest names in the sport, i.e. Floyd Mayweather, aka the Charlos, aka Adrian Broner, aka Manny Pacquiao. He is now bringing PBC Premier Boxing Champions to the UK, and he's announced a deal with ITV that will guarantee a minimum of 15 televised events each year. And the first event is speculated, as you can probably see on my picture, is James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr. Now, my first response to reading this is that this is fantastic news. More boxing on TV, and not only just TV, on terrestrial TV as well. Free-to-air TV. It's going to be on ITV as well. I'm assuming it's going to be on prime time. But, however, it's going to show 15 televised dates a year. The question is it going to be televised dates of the US fights, or is it going to be televised dates of UK fights? That's the big question indeed. Al Haymon, when he does things, he likes to do things big. I think he's coming to the UK to try and take over the UK market, and he's going to give a run for their money for Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. There's a lot of people saying that Eddie Hearn is going to be sweating. Yeah, I think that he is going to be sweating. But do you know what? The person that is going to be sweating more than Eddie Hearn is going to be Frank Warren. Remember this. Eddie Hearn is number 1 right now in the UK. Frank Warren is number 2 with BT Sport. So if Al Haymon comes to the UK on ITV, and there's already rumours saying that he's looking to sign Carl Frampton, is looking to sign Josh Taylor, and he's already got people, or UK fighters like James DeGale on there as well. So, Frank Warren, they used to fight under Frank Warren, but now they're going to be fighting under PBC. It could be a danger that Frank Warren is going to be left in the dust, becoming the 3rd place person within a matter of a year or two. So I would say, people say Eddie Hearn is the one to worry about, but I would say it's more likely to be Frank Warren, based on his in the most vulnerable position out of the 2 promoters, I'll put it as. But as a boxing fan, as myself, I would say I'm very pleased, I'm very happy. The only concerns I have is that I hope they don't try and do pay-per-views. James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr. on pay-per-view. I'm not going to buy that. No one's not going to buy that. And that'll be a bad start coming to the UK trying to put that on pay-per-view. We're not gonna accept it. But as long as they put that fight for free, I'll be happy. I'll watch it if it's free. But if they put fights on pay-per-view that shouldn't be pay-per-view, then it's gonna be a bad start and it's gonna go downhill. We're not gonna accept it. But I'm hoping that it's gonna be a success. I'm looking forward to seeing that there's gonna be US fights coming into the UK as well. It's gonna be late at night, but I'm hoping that it will be as well. And I'm interested to see how he's gonna come into the UK, what fighters he's going to sign. Obviously he's going to sign British fighters, but what British fighters he's going to sign. So all these things together is going to be interesting, but overall I'm pleased that PBC is coming to the UK and we can finally watch the fights, and you don't have to do no illegal streaming or anything like that. So I'm very pleased about it. So guys, what do you think of the fights? What do you think of PBC's deal with ITV? If you've got any comments, leave it below. If you like this channel, then leave a subscribe, leave a notification so you can watch more of my shows. I'm doing my preview show next week, Thursday. It's going to be live at 9 o'clock p.m. And also my review shows is going to be on Monday at 9 p.m. as well, or 4 p.m. Eastern if you're from the United States. So if you've got anything you want me to talk about, let me know, and I'm going to talk about it.